on Bless FM with DJ Jammers.
Jam Masters, see? Or you know, say John Wood say, sound boy, you have to bite the dust tonight.
Top it off again. David Jammers, Sketelina talk, what them war. From the Shem Drum Master. David Jammers, look you know, write a book you know. Drum Master, no write a book you know. Lion, run the badness, DJ Silver, so the kid, you pension.
You mind the Wazir and Jam Master songs, Sketelina Jam Silver.
Run the badness.
I'm going to a road boy. Hey. Cause I ain't never seen this before. Seen this before. Seen this before. Never seen so many people.
Hello, mate.
Wagwan,
What day of the week is it?
what you ask me them question for?
I just wanted to know.
It's Thursday.
Oh,
And you know Wagwan on Thursday?
no, tell me, mate.
It's the Jam Master show
All right.
on Bless Radio.
Nice one.
Things sweet like Jamaican
Top it
mango.
off again. David Jammers,
With a G
Sketelina
and a
talk,
O
what them
that smells
war.
good.
From the Shem Drum Master. David Jammers, look you know, write a book you know. Drum Master, no write a book you know. Lion, run the badness, DJ Silver, so the kid, you pension.
You mind the Wazir and Jam Master songs, Sketelina Jam Silver.
Run the badness.
I'm going to a road boy. Hey. Cause I ain't never seen this before. Seen this before. Seen this before. Never seen so many people be down and selfie coming. Jam Master, I'm thinking very seen. Jam Master, come be nice and busy.
You're in tune to DJ Jammers on Bless Radio, UK's #1 station for great music.
Yes, people, hope you're enjoying yourselves inside the building, outside, driving, wherever you are. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Make sure you make the most of your life inside. And we've got some esteemed callers going to be due to be calling in. Dougie, every
Yes, they'll be phoning exactly in 2 minutes' time. We have Kinsu will be joining us on the call in 2 minutes. And also, hopefully, we get Sister Charlotte and we can open a live link. See? But as we said, we're talking about the whole thing about health, and it's quite interesting. I know that John was at the event last time. We was talking about prostate cancer, and prostate cancer. And you know what's interesting, Jim, was that and I have to say this, that more women came out to the prostate cancer than the men. Mm-hmm. And the question we ask ourselves, why is the men don't really come out? See? And we're going to do prostate cancer, and we're going to encourage the men to come out, because 1 out of every 4 black men in the late 40s have prostate cancer challenges. See? And we feel that we need to bring the awareness to the community and encourage many black men to come out, get information about prostate. As well as getting your prostate checked, but you need to have the information. And once you have the information, you can pass on the information to other individuals as well. Your colleagues, your family, your friends, because it's serious. And also, we'll be talking about diabetes. And again, many of our people, from their 30s, have challenges with diabetes. And what's diabetes? It really comes down to excessive amount of sugar what's in the body. And what sugar is? Sugar is like a burglar. It robs all the nutrients from the body. See? So, we want to touch on these subjects. I want to talk about the emotion side as well. So that's why we do have people like Kinsu, who is well-rounded, holistic health therapist, nutritionist, and Kinsu, being on the wings of Dr. Layla Africa, and as people know, is one of the best health consultants in the world. So we'll be hearing from Kinzo very shortly, and also hearing from Sister Charlotte, who had cancer and she reversed it by eating healthy, being more positive, and taking a holistic approach, and discipline herself, and now she's cancer free. So we'll be, and she's written a book on this. See, so that's we want to focus, especially in the first part, and talking about the event what took place on the 28th. I know the James was there. James, was you there? The prostate cancer, the first part.
I came at the second part. I wasn't able to.
You weren't in. You weren't in the first part.
Yes,
that's the live link. James live link. Yeah. So I connected up.
Live link.
Okay, we got someone on live with us. So that'll be Kinzo.
Dougie?
Yes, greetings, my brother. You good?
Yeah, man. Greetings. Yeah, all good.
Yes,
how we doing?
Yeah, we're good, man. You're live with us, and
live.
Yeah, man, you're live with us. But Kinzo, I just told people that we have to praise you, man, because you see you, we rate you, and everybody knows about you, rate you, because the amount of information you share with us and the amount of research you do, because people understand that, and I told people that you've done a lot of research over the past few years. That's why you're able to give us the depth of information when it comes to health, So we'll always be in debt to you, my brother. Always be in debt to you. But, kids, what I wanted to do is touch a little bit about the prostate cancer. And also, I know you've done a lot of research, the other thing about the emotion side of stuff. Because everything ties in together, and you look at things from a holistic.
Sure.
Yeah. So, touch on the other thing. And I was saying to the people in man, saying to Jammers that the last event we had, there was more women came than men.
More women.
Yeah, because I went to my prostate cancer, and again, that's a worrying signs, you know what I mean? But
sure,
touch on the other thing about the prostate, my brother.
Yeah, okay.
Do you write anything on your computer?
Greetings. Did I hear something?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, yes, greetings to Bless FM listeners. Yes, so right, regarding the prostate, well, let me start like this. Sometimes I like to start like this because I'm an African born in London to African parents who were themselves born in Jamaica.
See?
Yeah. So when you look at that renders me a product of displacement. Yeah. So as a product of displacement, I've gone through many of the things that we youths go through coming up, not really having our identity straight. And we get involved in things that kind of work against us because we haven't got our identity straight, we haven't got our values straight, our self-esteem is low. Do you understand? And when we're not really able to negotiate relationships and so forth.
Right.
So we start to embrace things that are adverse to us unknowingly. Yes? And for me, I reached to the age about mid-20, about 25 to 30, and I used to get this pain in my chest, and long story short, but I embraced live food. It's the live food that reversed the ailments that I had, So the point I'm saying that because to give a background so people can see really from young, because when you talk about prostate, they like to screen between 40 and 50 years old.
40 and 50 years old, right.
Yes. But what we're seeing here, if we use our holistic mind and get into the thing properly, we start to understand that children are being submerged in toxicity from a young age. That's the food predominantly. We haven't even gone to the emotions yet, you see? So when we reach 13, at the age of puberty, after that, you're starting to see children, male boys, leaving urine on their pants.
Right.
You see, after they urinate, they have to shake a little, or it leaves the urine on the pants. You know, by the time you reach to a big man, you're standing there shaking for as long as you're urinating. You see? Because what's happening here, what we're highlighting here is that the prostate gland has started to enlarge from puberty or even before.
Ah, okay then.
It's starting to enlarge. So as the urine is coming through the urethra, it's not finishing properly. You see, the urine is not finishing properly because it's being squeezed, it's being squashed by the swollen gland. You know, but the point to understand is that it's starting before puberty. You know, because of the lifestyles that we have. You know, the lifestyles, we have to look past the diet. We have to look into the mindsets. We have to look into the mind that is feeding the soul, so to speak. You see? And the mind is putting together junk food. So we have to look there. And as a holistic practitioner, you know, it's very hard not to look back at things like, all right, we often say slavery, transatlantic slave trade, you know, and the displacement, like I just mentioned. That displacement, it brings forth a lot of terrors, if I can just say it that way, you know. And one of them is the reason why you're having more women at the prostate, which is a male gland. You're having more women at the prostate event or the man's event than you're having men.
That's right.
You see, the reason for that is again going back to this emotional, the macho image that we have been taught to carry, you know, and our feminine side is being suppressed. Now, what happens when you suppress your feminine side? You are suppressing your humility. You see? And I tell you, Nelson Mandela is one man that caught my eye in regards to this subject, humility, because it was a talk, I caught the end of it, and he said humility is one of the most important attributes you can have. You see? So when we haven't got humility, you know, we're really running what we could say walking on with one leg. You see, we're attempting to walk through the world with one leg, because you've got to have the other side. Everything is male and female. You know, if you have a little macho, you've got to have a little feminine. Every man that we see, if I'm looking at you now, I'm seeing your mother and your father in you. If I don't, I'm undermining you.
You see that?
Yeah. We have to look at you as a whole. You've got female in you, you've got male in you, but in this world, and in Jamaica where I was for a while, the option of kissing a male child, like a father kissing a male child, his male son, is kind of looked on as a bit of taboo.
Look kind of weird. Look funny.
Yeah, the man can't kiss his son. What they say is that you're trying to you're making too much sugar in the child. It's like they got this phobia that it may turn the child into a homosexual.
Yeah.
You see, so I'm just saying all of that so we can understand what the problem is. It goes back before the diet. You see, the macho image is preventing us from really getting to ourselves, Dougie. It's stopping us from getting to ourselves. You see, on the self-development path, the personal development, the motivation, when Les Brown and those people speaking, they often say that we have to get out of our own way. The reason why what's blocking our success is we are blocking our own success. You see? So we got to get out of our way and let the soul, let the being, let the essence, let the authentic you come through. Let the truth, let the love. You understand? Let that flow, because the love is the truth. The love is the essence of us. You see what I'm saying? And you see the point now, because when we block it with these macho images, these hard tough. We're not supposed to cry. We can't do nothing wrong. We can't make mistakes and all that kind of stuff. When we block it with that, we're blocking the love. We're blocking the love.
So it's lack of love. It's a lack of love then.
Yes, well, definitely.
Yeah.
You see, they got this word, self-love deficit. This phrase, self-love deficit, is a very powerful phrase. It's responsible for most, if not all, of the problems in this world. You know, self-love. Because if you don't have love for yourself, you can't love others. You're not going to treat yourself right. You're not going to treat other people, you know, how they should be treated. So it's a big problem. I mean, we're all affected by it in some degree, you know. But I think the more focus needs to be placed there.
Okay.
You know, Brother Kidsu, hello, it's Jammers here. I'm co-presenter.
Oh, greeting, Jammers.
Greetings,
yes,
yeah.
brother.
So, is there a formula for getting your mind in the right way? You know, is there a formula?
Sure. It's to basically allow your real self to come forward. You see, the thing is, we're blocking it. So, all right, the formula is this: it's introspection, really, and honesty. I got a saying that says, in order to know yourself, you got to be honest to yourself, right? But here, what? To be honest to yourself, you got to know yourself.
Right.
You see it?
Yeah,
so it's all about that. When they talk about knowledge of self, know thyself, which is the first principle in the ancient healing schools.
Right.
Know thyself to heal thyself. You see, so that's my point. We're missing the chain because we're jumping past that and we're looking at the white man is doing and slavery and rah, which are all relevant. However, the first point should be self.
Right.
You see? So to get your mind right, you just got to allow yourself to flow. So we have to start breaking down those. All right. Let me. When we're growing up, we take on different personalities to exist in our society, whether it's with our friends at school or friends on the road or church or wherever it may be. We take on a personality to blend in there, right? Now, so the thing is now is to chip those personalities back down. Do you get me? You get me, Jammers?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to look at them and see what is not serving me. Yeah, what is not serving me, and chip it down, and that takes pain. Sometimes you got to go through some pain. So a lot of us shy away from that, and we stick to the fourth self. Yes, to allow us to exist, and that's where the macho, I'm always right, I can't be wrong. You know, I don't have no feminine in me. You know, I'm very well. I'm not sick. You know, you understand? It goes on and on. When the individual, in some cases, is not even having a proper erection. You see what I'm saying? And they shy and shame. All right, you see that word shame? If I open that door, it's a whole class. It's a whole class.
Right.
You see, because shame is and I don't want to go into that right now, because that kind of deviates. But those are some powerful emotional attributes that's holding us back. And because we don't want to, again, we're holding ourselves back because we don't want to go in there and face the pain. But, you know, no pain, no gain.
I just want to break it. Sorry to cut you, but you just said a word there, shame. I just want to touch on the word shame. If you look at the first two letters in the word shame, it's the word sh, which means to quiet. After that, you see the word I am. You're quiet what you say, and then the last two letters in the word shame is me. So basically, in that word shame, as you're saying, you know, you're not looking into who you really are. You know, you're putting a block on what you are. You're not being honest. You know.
True. Well, toxic shame. You see, in everything you got male and female. You have good, healthy shame. Healthy shame is like tells me that I know there's a greater force than me. You know, and it's humility, in other words. Yes, that's healthy shame. But toxic shame tells you that I'm not worth much. I'm worthless. I'm unworthy. You know. And all along that line, my lack of self-esteem, lack of value, You know, and it's a very, very destroying attribute, very destructive, toxic shame. You know,
so
and that's what's been passed down. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Kins, I just want to jump in there, because when you talk about shame, right, and you said that there's toxic shame, right, where, you know, you've been told from, you know, you're no good, you're useless, you're worthless, and so on, right? And obviously that result to what's the word looking for? Feel insecure within oneself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, how would you go about reversing that process? Would that be about really start? As I'm speaking, comes to your point earlier on, right? It's about really understanding yourself and start loving yourself now, really.
Yeah, but watch this.
No, then, okay.
See, because you open up the door. That's part of it. You open up the door where I didn't want to open it.
Oh, right.
But it's all right.
No, because as you're speaking now, I'm thinking to myself, but you kind of come at the point you said earlier on, but it's about really loving yourself and respecting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It definitely goes back there. Dougie. Definitely.
Yeah.
But watch the point. I'm going to give an example, and everybody's going to understand it. I don't know how far we want to go into it, but look. If you as a father, or you have your father or your mother, all right, let me go this way. All right, all of us have a little front room. Our parents have a little front room when we're growing up, yeah, and they have them little things in the front room where you can't go in there and touch.
Yes.
Right, now you go in there and you touch and you break something, you might get a beating.
Yeah.
Right, now when you're getting that beating, it's quite terrific, and you're being put to shame. Now, if that happens more than 2-3 times, you start to feel unworthy.
Okay. Yeah, I see your point.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, yeah.
You see, if we go in there, it opens up so much else. But it's true. You can't, beating and spanking is well out of order. It's very barbaric. And it kicks in shame. So this is the point which, you know, in later times we can go further into it, you know, but it's the toxic shame is really telling you that you don't measure up. You don't fit to the standards of the people that you love and adore, yes, and you admire. You do not fit to their standards. That's very harsh. So it goes further on, and you see, all right, there's people doing studies now in America that they realize that childhood experiences leads to diseases like prostate and cancer and strokes and all these things, because the body is stressed for too long. Oh. And you get me? The body's in stress for a long period, so now that affects the prostate, it affects the blood, it affects the nerves and tissue and so forth.
So would you say then if you know, the same would apply to most disease then? If we're talking about diabetes and fibroids and you know, is it because the body, like you said, that the body's you've been stressed so long, right? It can cause to feel like prostate. Would it say the same thing would apply to feel like diabetes, fibroids, and so forth?
Yeah, okay. Because diabetes, as Laila Africa put in his book, he says diabetes is an emotional disease. Yeah, it's right. You read it in African Holistic Health. It's an emotional disease because sugar is the main culprit behind the diabetes. Yes, sugar, and sugar relates to love. You know, relates to love. So if a person is unable to love themselves, which most displaced individuals like us displaced, it's hard to love ourselves because we don't really know ourselves. You see, and once that, now you get a craving for sugar and starch and fats and stuff like that, you know, and crisp and chocolates, because they medicate the emotional gaps, the voids. You know, it's you know, it's wide, it's very wide ranged out there. It's so wide, but I think until we start looking further at that emotional part of it, we're not going to get to the root. You see, we're not going to get to the root.
Can I just come in?
Sorry,
there's a couple of things you've just mentioned. Yeah, I just want to touch on them. One of them is, I think, it's the mindset, because basically in ancient Kemet, our mindset wasn't hot and cold, dark and light. It was a thing of you transmute. That means you're a part of everything. You know, so basically, there's nothing as good as bad. There's a learning experience to be taking place. So when something happens to you and it's a mistake, it's not a mistake. It's really you just missed the chance to take something. So it's seen as a way of your self-development. But this mindset, the Western mindset, is something's bad or worthless or it's evil or it's wicked. So there's not that movement or that enhancement or that advancement when you see things as bad or wicked, you know, and that's one side. And the next thing is the concept of love, because basically the concept of love, when you look at the root where it comes from, the Greek, it's a craving for something. You see, where in ancient Kemet we had mahat, we had balance, you know, we had satisfaction, you know, and when you're coming from a place of heat, you haven't got a craving for anything because everything's there for you. You know, so that is a key element when you say it's a European concept of a craving for something that we've taken on, as you're saying, is causing this emotion, which is a motion outwards, emotion, for things other than ourselves.
Right, it's causing an emotion outward. Well, you see, I mean, I don't know if I understand what you're saying there. Is love has been converted to lust, I think, in this modern age. We're seeing love as lust and lust as love. You know, I see that going on. You understand? But what happened in Ma'at? So in ancient Africa with Ma'at, that's definitely cool. But it's like where we are today. What would I say? This you see, the emotions through the transatlantic slave trade, the emotions are suppressed. We can definitely see that if we look at we know about the horrific torturing and beating and so forth, right? And the whole kidnapping. So emotions have been suppressed, and that's what's being passed on to us, and a lack of love. Because when the emotions are suppressed, that means the individual no longer wants to express or feels comfortable in expressing their inner self. Because your love is your inner self, you know, bro. You see your inner, what they call soul or essence or spirit, or that's love. That's the closest you're going to get to the Creator in you.
But I think what it is, it's a new word. Really, we need emotion, because we need to go into ourselves to find satisfaction. Where we've been trained emotion, which means that you have to go outside to get satisfaction.
Right. Yes,
you know? And that's what's causing the imbalance in us. You know, is because. You know, as you say, we've been taught to crave things other than what we have. You know, we've been taught to crave clothes, we've taught to crave like beauty, we've taught to crave a certain one before we are able to feel happy. You know, that's how we've been trained. So as you're saying, it's causing all these cravings for drink and smoke because we haven't achieved that external so-called program of satisfaction.
But bruv, it's not trained. See, no one out there is trained us apart from our mother and our father.
I'm saying society kind of is. I'll have to say society is kind of programming. It's away from our mother and father's training.
No way. If you grow up in a household, what I'm saying here, you know, is the Caribbean. What we got to admit is the effects of slavery come into our household, right? We can't deny that. And when it comes into the household, parents are raising their children through shame, toxic shame, are raising their children according to how they have been raised and suppressed. And it's a bonding, it's transferred spiritually.
Right.
It has to be, because that bond between mother and father, you got to check that out. That's so tight that either good or bad is transferred. If I'm a wicked, evil father, that's going to be transferred. Right. If I'm the best loving father, that's going to be transferred. So this is what's happening. Yes, we can talk about the slavery, but it's coming to our household. That's the problem, because when you as a father take a belt and start striking down your child, and your child's looking at you saying, no daddy, that's not normal, bro. That's barbaric. We gotta, you see, it's been kept secret and hush and we got to bring it out to dispel it. If we don't bring it out, it will always stay there, and as an unconscious repression. You see? So we got to bring it out. It's in the house, because we keep pointing out a street, but it's in the house because of, and we're not blaming the parents, because we know it was imparted upon them through this journey. Now, you can look over, the white man's got his fair share too, because World War II and all of that caused a lot of their parents, the fathers, to go to war. Then you had fatherless children. You see? Japanese got their fair share. Various people around the world got their fair share of, what would I call, misparenting or ill parenting. You see what I'm saying? And that's the key, ill parenting. But we don't want to look at that, you see, and that we seem to be more comfortable at looking outside. It's in the home, bruv.
So what's the steps to solution then? What's the steps to solution?
Truth. Truth has always been. Remember, know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Truth has always been this, and the truth is in your chest. It's in my chest. But we've got it. They call it unconscious repression. That means that you, as a child, you unconsciously held it in because you wasn't allowed to have your anger. You wasn't allowed to have your say. So you shrunk it in. You see, now it's still in there, and it comes out as rage. And I tell you when it comes out. When you hit into a relationship. Because, you see, you open the door now. Because you see what happens. You see what happened? No, listen.
Well, that's the door that we want to open, really, you know.
All right, cool. Well, let's go there.
Let's kick it down and take off the hinges so it can't be put back.
All right, good. So listen, the parents, I was going to say so. I lost my chain there.
No, you're saying that, this is where we need to open up the door. We need to open the door. Yeah.
You said about the chest. You keep it in your chest, and then when it comes to relationship, that's where it starts to come out.
All right, relationships. Now watch this. Your first relationship, your first prototype, is your mother and your father. Now watch this. You've got certain developmental dependency needs. With needs by nature says you have to have some needs. Nature. Not nobody, you know. So you've got those needs have to come from who? Your mother and father.
Yeah.
And there's stages. Now, if you don't get those needs met at the first stage, you move on to the second stage unfulfilled, incomplete, and it keeps going on like that. Now, when you leave home as an adolescent or you grow up, because you never got those developmental needs met, your relationship with your mother or your father or both is incomplete. So watch this. You go out there, and you, as a man, we go out there and we get these radar sounds in our head when we're looking at women sometimes out in the high street, especially like Sun or Shine now. Yeah, and we get these radar signs like do, 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 do. She's the one. She's nice. She's me. You just feel it, right? Sometimes, most times, it's because the inner child in you is now detected, mommy, because mommy you never completed the relationship with mommy. Yes, incomplete because the needs weren't met. So now that attraction, that strong attraction you got for that woman over there, you think it's because of your adult preferences, yeah? Whether the shape and the this or the complexion or whatever, but oftentimes it's the inner child which didn't get his or her needs met is like, oh, there she is, there's mommy. And I tell you, this is happening so much out there. Because we didn't the first relationship of our life was incomplete. So what you're going to do, and when you go into the next relationship, you're going to be acting that all out. And because that's where it's going to manifest in a relationship. You're moving with your pals and you're going through life and everything. You don't really see it so easily. The minute you get emotionally entangled, you're going to see that child go mad in there.
Right.
And she's got her child in her, which is undeveloped, yeah? And you got your child in you, undeveloped. And they start picking at the adults. Her child is picking at me because her child wants certain things from me, which I'm not the father, but the father didn't give. Are you following me?
Yeah, I'm following you.
Yeah?
I'm following you.
And then see some both male and female, they've got undeveloped principles in them that were not met by their parents. So they go out into the world and they have to seek. They cannot get over that. They have to seek that. You see, those needs, and they seek it in the relationship, and it goes wrong, just goes crazy. Hence, you see, the black relationships out there, and so forth. You see, the divorce rate is sky high nowadays. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So you would say, so what you're saying then, really, that everything starts from the from your parents,
from the child.
From the child.
That's where your life started.
And then, okay, then, all right, then, and you're saying that that's the reason why relationships, I use the word kind of pear-shaped because of is the relationship you have with your parents.
Yeah, because undeveloped. You see, the word is undeveloped. You got. They use the word adult child. Adult child. You're looking at a 40-year-old man, but he's got a child inside of him that did not develop, did not reach to adulthood. You see, all adults were children, but not all children become adults. Because of you gotta understand the needs that we had as in the first 1 to 3 years. Then you got 4 to 6 years, and then you got another going on. You see, you got stages of needs.
All right, then. So, I'm just trying to because people are listening, and you just need to have a clear
yeah, sure,
a clear picture, really. So, for example, no, right? The father's not around, right? And the mother can be a bit, I use the word, can be overprotected, but at the same time, she can be have that kind of masculine kind of energy, right? And she would say things where the man is just worthless, and based on her experience. So the child would grow up, having emotional twists, so forth, right? And result that he get into a relationship now, right? But he's looking more of a mother figure to fulfill his needs, yeah?
Right.
Am I right saying that?
Right.
And if he doesn't get that, no, right? Again, that relationship go pear-shaped. So the question really is, how do, if you was a counselor or whatever, how would you fix it? Yeah, fix it. That's the right word.
Undeveloped needs. You see, the child never had their needs met. So they grow up with a hole in the soul because they've jumped over to the next stage with being incomplete from the previous stage. Do you get me? So hole in the soul. So
I just want to take you. So when you mean needs, what do you mean by the word needs?
All right. Let's give you an example. When a child between 1 and 3, those ages there, right? Or even going up to age 6, the child has what they call narcissistic needs. Now, this means this. It means that the child needs someone, mother and father, to look at them and connect with them and accept them in unconditional regard.
Seen.
Yes? Stroking them and things like that at that age. If you move to the next stage, you've got other needs to nurture them emotionally. And it keeps going on like that. Different stages have different needs according to that age. You see? So if a child goes from 1 to 3, goes over from the first stage and they haven't been accepted fully. When I say accept, I mean in everything they do. Let me show you something. They call it terrible twos, yeah? Terrible twos. We've heard about that?
No, I never heard it. You heard that one?
I've heard it, but break it down for those of us who don't know.
Right. When the child reaches 2 years old, they call it naughty twos or terrible twos. When a child starts want to do what they want to do, yeah, and a child starts, you tell a child to do that, they say no, and they start answering back around that age. The reason what they're doing is a bonding process. It's called oppositional bonding, where the child is at 2 years old, and this is deep. At 2 years old, we should be allowing the child to do what they want. And I don't mean crazily run out into the road and get knocked over or anything dangerous. Yes? Because we've got to guide them.
Yeah.
But guide is guide. But what happens is we as parents are drawing them to live like we live. We want them to live like us. We're not understanding that they got their own life, but we think because of the society, we think, oh, that's going to start when they're 16 or 18 or 13. Yeah? No. Their freedom starts from they're born. Yeah? And when they reach 2, they're showing you that. They want you there, but they want to do what they want. Yes? And we should allow them to be free. But we just stamp them. And terrible 2s is where they say the child is just getting, want to do their own thing. And it's from there the child start getting smacked. You see what I'm saying? And shouted at. And don't do that. And if the worst thing you can do is go and break something that is important to the parents. Now the parents going to see that coffee table or whatever it is have more value than your life. Than your development. You get what I'm saying? That's where we are. We don't understand parenting. Laila Africa said, we're all parenting, but nobody's read a book about parenting. Because in his book, he wrote a book called Raising Black Children. A lot of what I'm saying is in there. If you understand it, you get me?
That's an excellent book. For anybody who needs a book, that's an excellent book, that one there, yeah.
You read it?
Yes.
I got it, yeah. Heavy.
Raising Black Children.
Yeah.
And there's another good book which he also referred me to was Magical Child.
Okay.
Magical Child by Joseph Pierce. Very good book.
Right.
Okay. Kinso, we like for reason we right through, but we got a couple people that's going to contribute still, right? And
well, listen, let me do this, please. I got a special offer. A special offer for your listeners today. Yeah. Because I wanted to talk a bit about essential oils, but if we haven't got time, I'll leave that.
Well, if you can mention about the essential oils, where we can get it from and that stuff, that'd be perfect. Because in terms of the health side of stuff,
Sure. Because what I was saying is, essential oils. This, the more I'm looking into it, it's an ancient and one of the most potent forms of healing. The true essential. But the problem is we haven't had a lot of the pure ones around. So, essential oils is the blood of the plant. It's the blood of the plant, and it's the immunity also of the plant. Yes? So we can use that to boost our immunity and cover and cure you from maintain all, I try not to say the word cure, but help you in all diseases. Yeah? So this is something that I'm into, wholeheartedly right now.
So I just need to cut you. What do you mean by blood of the plant? What do you mean by the blood?
The oil, it acts in the same way as the blood of the plant, meaning that it transfers life. Like how the blood in our body. Yeah, the blood in our body is a transport. It transports life. Same thing with the blood with the plants. You see what I'm saying? That's the only part of the plant they haven't really been able to replicate properly because they can't get all the properties together. You see, but it's coming out over the years. I mean, from ancient Africa to Egypt to Greece and all those places, they recognized it. But in the 1900s, when the allopathic medicine stepped up to take over with their Flexner project and all of that, everybody jumped on the synthetic medicine and the quick fix. You see, but essential oils are I would have to say, the most powerful out of those, even more powerful than herbs. I'll give you an example. 1 drop of peppermint is equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. And I'll give you a sample of the peppermint when I see you, the 1 drop, and you feel how powerful that is. You see? So this is what we're using. So now I've got a special offer right now. I usually do health assessments for people at about £150 or so. What I'm doing for this weekend, especially for your listeners, is a consultation on the phone. Okay, phone or internet, Skype, half hour for £40. Yes, so if you want to grab it, and following up from the consultation, I'll follow up with a dietary guidance and following up contact-wise for a period of 3 months, and then we'll introduce them to the essential oils as well. So the results of the assessment or the consultation, yes, we will take that into a essential oil program.
Okay then.
Yes, do you understand what I'm saying? So special offer, I mean, £40 for a consultation. I'll be able to identify the ailments and the root cause of the ailments, and show you how to address them holistically, of course. If you want to go emotional, we can help emotional also. Just keeping it very holistic. So the number to contact to get hold of me is 07983 678 199. Also email naturallywhole@yahoo.com. That's naturallywhole, WHOLE, naturallywhole@yahoo.com. Instagram, Melanin Clinic. Facebook, Melanin Clinic. Website, melaninclinic.com. Okay, so take advantage over the next 2 days. You can get a bargain consultation and get all your ailments laid out and remedies and causes, and a whole program set up, a 3-month program set up to address any ailments that have been highlighted in the consultation.
Okay.
All right. So let's give my number one more time.
Yeah, give your number one more time, Kintu, please.
Yeah, 07983 678 199.
And let people know that you have an event, not have an event, but you're speaking at Mama Africa shop next week, yeah?
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah, next week, the 17th, Thursday the 17th, Mama Africa having an event entitled Step-by-Step Program to Cancer. Yeah, so it's going to be part 1 and part 2. We're doing the part 1, myself and Stephen Sali. We'll be speaking there next Thursday. So, come out and get some information.
Okay then. Kintu, give thanks, yeah?
Yeah, man. No, you're welcome. Pleasure every time.
Yeah, man. Every time, Kintu.
All right. Brother Jammers?
Yeah, Jammers just stepped out for me.
Stepped out, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all right then. So, listen. Give thanks again, my brother.
Yeah, man. Enough love. Love every time.
Jammers, Kintu, say goodbye to you.
Yeah, Kintu, big up, man. Definitely got to come back to this, because I think you've only just touched the tip, of your knowledge.
Sure.
So we definitely need you back on either in person or back on a radio interview, yeah?
Yeah, we'll come down in person one day.
That'd be great. Good.
All right, then. Kintu, big up the status, yeah?
All right, please. Peace.
All right, then. One love. Okay, that was Brother Kintu, who joins online, and he's got some serious information. As I said, he's a holistic health practitioner. He's based here now. He was based in Jamaica, doing a lot of work.
He's based in Jamaica. He's based in Jamaica, yeah. Wow.
No, he was based in Jamaica, but he's here now.
Wow. No,
so, Kintu is a giant among us. As I said earlier on, he's working tirelessly. Okay, then we are spent another call in about a couple of minutes. So the live link number for those who. James, your live link number, can we get to 0?
The live link number for anybody who wants to call in and contribute is 079 444 31366. Once again, 079 444 31366. And I know, Edison, you've been listening in. I know you've got a lot to say. And anybody who'd like to contribute, also they can call on the WhatsApp.
Also, we're expecting a call from our sister Charlotte, who will be joining us in a second. Greetings.
Hi, can you hear me?
Okay then. Well, this is Sister Charlotte, and I did mention her earlier on. And Charlotte did have some challenge around the whole thing about cancer, and she has taken initiative, done her research, and she's reversed her health challenges, and I stand today she is cancer free, right? No, then she's a success story. But Charlotte, it's best if you tell people your story, right? I know you've written a book, but when you heard your story the other day, if you're not human, if you don't cry, you're not human, because tears come out of a lot of people's eyes. Seriously.
Yeah.
When we hear you, what you talk, but let people know exactly, the journey you've been through.
All right then. Okay. So I was diagnosed with lymphoblastic lymphoma, which is a cancer of the lymph nodes, the lymphatic system. This is back in 2007 when I was 17 years old.
17 years old, yeah.
Now, back then, I didn't really have the knowledge of the natural health things that I now know. And I carried on to get chemotherapy. I got a lot of side effects from the chemotherapy, including psychosis. And 2 weeks before my 18th birthday, my whole body was paralyzed within the space of 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, God.
I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, and I couldn't even swallow. And I was told it was irreversible. Now, I carried on with my treatment until I spoke to someone who was a kinesiologist who deals with energy in the body.
Yeah.
And they informed me that the drugs I was taking was stopping me from rehabilitating with my mobility. So I confronted my consultant, who confirmed that it was true. And I then decided in that moment to stop chemotherapy and go on a natural journey. And that was 8 years ago in April. So I'm 8 years cancer-free.
Oh, amen. Yes. And also you've written a book as well, yeah?
Yes, I've written a book called Cancer, The Hidden Truth. It's all about a true account of an emotional and physical journey that cancer patients can go through. And also I give lots of tips and stuff on what I did to help recover.
Okay then. So, what have you been doing up to now then? What have you? Do you do regular talks, or do you go into schools, or what do you know?
I go to different events around London and tell my story. I do workshops as well.
You do workshops, yeah?
Yeah, I do workshops talking about the mindset, about diet, fitness, environment, all of the aspects that I think play a part in your health, because it's about creating balance in the body, and that's what I discuss with people.
Okay then. All right then. Well, listen. We would like you to, because we like to let people know about your book. You know, Bless is very supportive. Want to get behind you and support what you're doing, because all right. Get you got this, sir. Right. I have to rephrase that. He would like to support you. All right. No then. Let people know about the book, my sister. Because I definitely want to buy it. When I see you again, I want to buy a copy. I don't want to give me one. I want to buy a copy. I'm requiring people to buy a copy as well. Yeah.
Okay, so the book is called Cancer, The Hidden Truth. And my name is Charlotte Crow. It's available on my website, which is Charlotte Crow. That's CROWL.com. Or it's also on Amazon and Kindle.
Okay then. And sorry, do you have a website?
Yeah, it's www.charlottecrown.com. That's CROWL.
Well, Charlotte, as we said, that we definitely want to work with you, because you are a success story. You know, I met your lovely mum. You know, very pleasant. You know, I can't believe that's your mum. You know what I mean? So you're part of the family, and we definitely want to work with you. And also let people know Charlotte will be at the next event we're having. She'll have her books, and also she'll be sharing some information with us as well. Because next event we will be talking about prostate cancer, diabetes. And as we said, I want to encourage, especially the men, them need to come out to these seminars. The chance we have, the men are not really coming out, Yeah. So My sister, again, give thanks. Again, give it your website again, please, and we'll put it out of your book. Yeah.
www.charlotteCrown.com.
Okay then.
You can also find the book on Amazon. That's Cancer, The Hidden Truth.
Cancer, The Hidden Truth. Okay then. So again, we had beautiful Charlotte online with us, just giving us some information. And again, her mess has become her message, and this is a serious warrior among us in the community. So Charlotte, give thanks, yeah, and we'll be speaking very soon. Okay then, one love. Okay then.
Yeah, thanks Charlotte, and we're going to be back after a short break, and we'll be back after the break. Hello.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening,
how you doing?
Edison. Yeah, everything's fine, man. All good, man. Good to hear from you as well.
Yes, Edison.
Excellent. Hi, Dougie.
Yeah, give thanks, Edison. It's good to hear your powerful voice. You know?
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah, if you missed well, everyone just joined us. We had Brother Kinsu, and he was talking about disease. He came from a really interesting perspective, talking about that it starts with the emotion, it starts with the mind, and he was touching about, the different how it's passed on from the parents, whatever trauma the parents have had, it's passed through to the children. And another aspect that we've got inside of us, we've got the child, the teenager, and the adult essence in us. And when you go into a relationship, you've got your child, your teenager, and your adult essence in you. And then there's a problem when you go into a relationship, because the child sometimes needs to be satisfied by the mother figure, your teenager has to be calmed down, and there's all that dynamics going on. So I just like to have and I was looking in, because when he said, words, when he said the word love, my alarm bell started to ring. So I was looking into like the Greek aspect of where this word love comes from, and there's 4 elements in Greece which relates to like an addiction or an affection. It does, or where you desire. So it relates to something where you're addicted to a feeling, rather than, I think, our Kemetic principle of being satisfied.
Love is one of those crazy words. The reason why they can't tie it down is because it's the love of a thing. Or emotion, or a taste, or something like that. You can say, I love food, or I love this type of food, or I love this type of person. But whenever you try to challenge the person, it's not on the reason why. They'll have to describe an aspect of the person, not necessarily the whole thing. So how does one put it? It's the love of a thing. Right. And I just want to. That's really what it is.
I want to direct you towards the emotion. What causes emotions now?
Emotions are judgments. Effectively, whenever the old saying where they say a picture paints 1,000 words, isn't it? Yeah. Where the truth is, each word generates 1,000. Each picture generates 1,000 internal words within you. So you're constantly, whenever you see an image, you're constantly working out, what does that mean? What is that? And you have your own internal discussion. That's what we're constantly doing every time we see anything. So ultimately, once you've made a judgment on something that you see, if you like it, you don't like it, you see your face act accordingly, isn't it? So if I really like something, I'm like smiling. If I don't, I frown. That's my judgment.
So how does this lead to addiction then? What is it, the breaking down the root of addiction?
Because the thing is, certain feelings, sensations feel so nice, we've got to have them again.
Right.
Yeah, so you could see, say, being crude, a woman walk by and you enjoy that feeling of how she looks so much. You wish to have that continuously. Right. So you will approach her on the basis of that you can maintain that sort of feeling that you had when you saw her initially, and maintain that same thing, the same thing a woman with a guy. So we become addicted to the sensation of a judgment of something which we see or taste or go through.
What is this energy then that, when you, as you say, you see a girl and then that feeling, what is that what is that energy? Is it a magnetic energy? What is it that's drawing you to that kind of feeling?
2 different things. Let's do the first thing about emotion. Energy in motion.
Right.
Emotion.
Yep.
That's all it really is. The judgment that is now you've designed it to become a sensation within your body. And that's what the E energy in motion is, the judgment of that thought. Anyhow, as regards to a woman per se or a man, you remember that we are electrical magnetic things.
Right.
So there's certain aspects, one of the things we teach in the class is that the woman has certain parts of her body that are magnetic.
Right.
So does the man have certain parts of his body. That's why when you're going to see a woman, your eyes are electrical and they're automatically drawn to certain parts of her body. Not because you're funny or weird, it's because they're generating magnetic frequencies that you're drawn to them.
So it's more than because then people say it's not really addiction then, because basically you're talking about its energies, different kind of energies, interaction.
The fact is, based on how you judge that magnetic feeling will determine whether you become addicted to the sensation that you generate.
Right.
That's how a man's going to decide whether he dislikes a woman or likes her, because he's going to look at her. And the same thing, woman and man look at him or look at her and they feel a certain thing when they look at them. They say, whoa, I'm drawn to that person. Hence you have the word attractive, suggesting a magnetic dynamic.
Yeah, but Edison.
Go on, Dougie, man.
Yeah, boy. The more you talk, the more you talk, man. The more power you have, man. It's quite interesting, and the question what Jammers raised to bring to the table, the whole thing about energy and attraction. Yeah. And if you go to a wine bar, especially in a wine bar, right? Or even a club up in a wine bar, and you observe where you have, when you first go in the wine bar, you see certain amount of women standing in one particular corner and certain men stand over that side there, right? But when the women start to dance and that kind of feminine kind of movement and that energy, and the man is more of a robot kind of dance, right? But somehow, he will, I use the word Jim Screechy, right? Walk towards the woman, and it's that power of the energy of the woman, what she has, what draw that man to them,
And honesty,
and that's a good. And I use that as an example. That power of energy, what a woman has, that feminine energy, where you draw the man to them, I just want to bring to the table. But the question Jammers asked is a very interesting question, and were you able to explain that? But we have that magnetic energy. We have. It's so, and people don't really. I'm just my observation bringing that there. Because
women are, in truth, have the most powerful magnets in the world. So men are drawn to them. There's certain, you go into it and we break down each part of her body and then talk about the power of that magnetic frequency that it draws. So it's she can dance, and then that's literally magnetism. That's not just magnetism. That's it in a physical perspective, and that it's actually generating a frequency that can be felt in the whole place and in the whole environment. Each woman is generating, hence the men are drawn. They can't pull away because the actual magnets that she has per se are moving, generating a frequency that is literally on a wavelength that the man feels compelled to look. And she might not even be dancing in any sort of coordinated way, but she's moving energy around in a sort of frequency that the man is drawn to that energy and can't take his eyes off. In fact, he becomes mesmerized, isn't it? The old mesmerized. So Edison, to say that he's in a place where he don't even know what he's looking at again. He's just feeling it.
What you saying? You've given the man the perfect excuse now, that he can't fight this because it's beyond thought process. It's the energy that he's magnetized in. In
honesty, there's a dynamic of that, but they say as a man becomes wiser, he has to ignore certain feelings sometimes.
Right. The next,
and as a woman becomes wiser, not everything that glistens is gold.
My next question in relation to that is the judgment. You talked about it's a judgment, but who formulates the judgment?
Well, the problem is it depends on whether you follow the crowd or whether you know for yourself. Because some women will turn around and say to you, yeah, I have my own particular ways of judging how I feel towards a certain person. So another person could look at that man and say he's not attractive, but to them he looks like gold, you know, because that's in which the way in her mind is formed.
So is the judgment, society, or is it an internal that formulates this judging process?
Well, you've got two different dynamics. You've got the sense that you can have your own culture as an individual, which means you make your own rules. But if you don't have your own culture, sometimes you're at the control of society, and their rules is now what determines how you feel. So he's got to be tall, he's got to have this, he's got to have that, he's got to be short. There's so many different variants that they're telling you what is good looking. Hence, actors on TV are supposed to portray that. But whenever I've listened to women speak about what they like, the variation is so wide you can't work out what it is, that where they're coming from. There's no pattern that any man could follow and say, yes, I know what all women like. He'd be a liar, because the next one would tell you that, no, I like a man that's tall or a man that is this.
Yeah.
And it's always based on the same thing with guys, unfortunately. It's on someone who they admired or admire. And maybe have or they don't, you know.
But it's quite interesting as we're talking about, you know, the ultimate attraction and love and so forth, right? And I was watching a program the other day. It's talk about, I didn't saw the beginning, but I think it's called True Love, right?
Okay.
And as the woman was speaking, right, because she met this guy and she really fell in love with him, but what happened that he's a basketball player and he travelled and she didn't want to travel, and through that now, right, you know, she got another relationship, she had 2 or 3 kids, but she always wanted to meet up this guy here, right? True love, right? But what's interesting, right, you come in my mind because she fell in love with the idea where he was many years ago.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying, right?
Exactly.
You know, and I said to myself, boy, you know, son, Edison's so on point. She's falling in love with the guy 13, 15 years ago. So this idea she have of this man here, you know what I mean, right? But I just want to bring in mind, because sometimes it's the idea when we talk about love now. Right?
100%.
Yes.
It's the individual. Nowadays it's sad, because the olden days you needed to know a person, but nowadays you need to know their fantasy. That's more important than who they are, because they want to live in that fantasy. And men as well.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to understand, women have such a powerful imagination. That anything you do, they take it within themselves and create a whole storyline, picture, everything, go through the whole 9 yards, what it's going to look like and all that kind of thing. Once they've gone through that whole sort of personal movie inside their mind, they've generated a feeling to how that's going to feel. This is why I said it's the judgment. Once she's gone through the personal movie in her head, she's creating how good that's going to feel. And that feeling has flooded her body, and she falls in love with that feeling. This is why someone can turn around to you and say, this isn't how I imagined it to be. Because they've already gone through their imagination and the whole story and how they're supposed to feel, and ultimately they're looking at the story and it's not coming or going in the way that they would imagine it to be. And then they fall out of love, not with the individual, but with the story that they had that they were going to have with that individual.
I understand what you're saying now, you know.
This is a heavy one. I just want to add something, because Kinsu brought it to the table, the hole in the soul, where a need hasn't been satisfied, and
that's the one.
And then you live for that desire. And I've just looked into this concept of love here, and what I've found is it's based on a craving. The opposite of love is being self-sufficient. You see?
Okay.
So the concept of
But
love
that's
is
love of self, no?
no. Forget about the word love. Love.
Okay.
Sorry. Love. The word love is it makes you crave for. It's a craving for something other than yourself. Basically, you know, even if you want to love yourself, that you're craving for something where there's a different form. When you're self-sufficient and when you're satisfied or when you're fulfilled, you have no craving or no affection for something. You're just on a state of contentment. So basically, that's what I just want to throw in as well.
You know, that's a funny thing because the richest man is the man who's most content.
Right. Wow.
Not the one who has the most money.
Mm-hmm.
Because you could have a man that has plenty of money, but he is designed in his mind that in order to be content, he has to have a figure beyond what he has.
Right.
So therefore, he doesn't feel rich. He feels poor because he's measuring it against other people.
Right.
And what they have. So he may have millions, but in his mind, he's still there challenged like someone who has nothing because he can't leave himself to be satisfied until he's achieved what he's created within his head.
Right.
Well, and a man who's content is a man who could just have a house and wife and kids, and they live from what they find in the forest. And he's rich in his mind because he's happy, he's content.
Right, but basically, I would like to say that love is a Greek program for craving.
I'm not going to deny that, but the thing is, the only issue that I have is if a man who's self-content within himself doesn't actually require an additional love from someone else to validate himself or herself. Contentment doesn't require any more validation on someone to come in and give you the love that you won't accept for yourself. Because a lot of people are stuck on that. They need, because of things that have happened in their life. And like he said, the hole in the soul is very true.
Yeah.
But the problem is you need someone else to fill that gap.
What I like to do is introduce a new word into the dynamic to get to the solution of the problem of love. Yeah, and the new word to the dynamic is in motion. You need to look in yourself to see what makes you content and what makes you fulfilled, rather than emotion when you're looking outside of yourself to find this fulfillment.
E and in really be that it's all taking place inside you. It's another thing, but in motion as opposed to emotion where it's external motion. It's a judgment of something else. Whereas if you have the actual contentment within yourself, you don't need to generate anything. You don't need to generate an emotion to validate yourself. You know, the body always works in harmony and in balance. And if you're in a room, you could be there and there's a clock going on, there's a different smell in the room going on, there's all different things going on, but your mind always normalizes anything. It's not till someone else walks in a room and says, boy, it smells in here, have you not opened the window or what? you don't hear nothing because your brain literally, all it does, it will only hear the door opening. All the other sounds in the room, it will normalize, so it doesn't actually hear them and process them. It only processes what it needs to. Anything new.
Right, but I just want to ride on the other thing about the I use the word love, and one of the things we make this observation that, and you said it, that we're looking to be evaluated by other people to know that we're being loved, where we should be looking within oneself of loving oneself, because I'm going to bring it, this is an extreme still, but it ties in, and you understand what I'm saying. That look at those who involve an abusive relationship, right? And then leave that abusive relationship and go to another abusive relationship. There's a pattern there, right? It's not about that person who's abusing you, right? It's not about you. What is it about you attracting those people to you? So, and what is right? They're looking for love in a crazy way outwards, where they should be loving themselves. And once you love yourself, you attract the right person to you. You see what I'm going with this, you know?
No, Dougie, what you said is spot on. There's a line that I use where I say, unfortunately, when bad becomes normal, normal becomes bad.
Yeah, heavy.
And a lot of people live in a situation where bad is normal to them. So when they are in any other situation, that normal has to be bad in order for them to feel fulfilled. So they can leave a situation where they were abused and all that kind of thing, go to a new situation, and because they've been conditioned over a period of time, they think the soft guy is a weak guy.
Yes.
The guy not abusing them is really not caring for them. And because they live so long in that bad situation and constantly fighting, they're fighting the new guy based on the fact that they're used to being in a fight dynamic.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
And when they come to a dynamic where they're not fighting, they almost feel bored.
Yes, right. That's right.
This man is just not challenging me. He's not saying this, he's not saying that, because I've been conditioned to live in that. So if someone lives in an abusive household as a child, when they go out into the big bad world and they got some guy, yes sir, no sir, they're like, you're an idiot. Why are you doing this? Why are you behaving in this way?
They say
I need you to be stronger.
Yeah, they say him too soft.
Exactly. And because they've been conditioned to live in that environment, they want to change, but they're not quite sure how. They're not trying to recondition themselves. Over a time, they learn to become able to receive, because there's a lot of people that can't receive a compliment and don't know how to receive this thing you call love. Because they've not had it that way. And they say that we are all actors in our own play. And the problem that we have is whenever we're about to act or do the right thing, we go within ourselves and look at our experiences. And then from that, we judge how we're supposed to act. So if I was in an environment where I just was in a blissful scenario, no one gave me drama, I never got a headache, I'm going to act like that as my normal self, isn't it? And go out into the world expecting everyone to be like that, but the world isn't that way. Everyone's coming from next place. So you're there dealing with someone who's peaceful against someone who's used to living in aggro, and the both of them can't mix, even though visually they look like they should look mixed, but mentally they've been conditioned in two different ways.
And I listen to that. The other aspect to that is when this society is showing that normal is not good, you know. So you don't have a film like the normal
it's
happy
what you
family.
call it. It's next to his judgment of it, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have like the happy family where everybody's smiling. There's got to be some kind of drama. And another thing is you could be sitting in a wine bar all happy and a girl walks in or a woman walks in and all of a sudden it's life or death that you have to talk to her. You feel like if you don't talk to this girl, your whole life's going to end, you know. when the girl doesn't want to talk to you and she goes about her business, you're sitting back where you was and say, "What with it? Everything's still cool."
Yeah, now in honesty, we've all been there where the program inside us literally is there judging us.
Yeah, another thing, sorry to cut you, is like you could walk past a shop, you see some shoes, you say, "Well, I have to get them shoes," or you see a jewellery, I have to get that jewellery, you know, like it becomes life or death, or I have to buy that car, you know, I need that tattoo, you know.
That is the next internal argument where you're dealing with another aspect of yourself. Because we'll tell you.
What's that one? You say it's another external argument. So can you go to that?
Well, what do we say? Internal argument by something external. Because hate to touch on the ugly word ego, but the ego is a separate entity from yourself. The fact that you can have a debate with your ego suggests it's not you. Yeah. So the ego is the one that you're walking along down the road and tell you you're looking a bit rough today. Everyone's looking at you. So you become conscious, isn't it? You're walking along and looking at everyone looking at you. Problem is, everyone is doing the same thing, walking along, and they think everyone else is looking at themselves.
So quickly,
they're not watching you, they're watching how they feel inside, because there's a voice inside them telling them that they're not quite up to scratch today.
So who, where, and what is this ego then?
Man, that's a separate conversation for another day. But to put it in a nutshell, let's just say within your mind, not every voice you hear is on your side. Right. And sometimes you're going to have some negative voices literally proposing and suggesting things you don't want to do. Right. Ego is just a group of energies that are literally attached or working within you, constantly putting in a standard. Mm-hmm. Which it wants you to follow, but necessarily doesn't give you advice how to get there. It's a thing that's telling you, you can do better, you can do this, you could do that. How, it doesn't say. Right, I like that. And then it judges you on how you feel. You know, there's many a time a man will run out or a woman run out, they didn't get washed, they didn't get this, they ran out the house. And the whole day, no one looks at them, but they're constantly thinking that everyone is looking at them strange. Because they know what they didn't do.
So, would you say then that we're talking about the subconscious?
Well, okay, you went into my favorite subject there. You did, because the thing is, this is the whole truth of, from my perspective, what spirituality really is. Because in the olden days, we had knowledge and control of what was called our subconscious. And what the trick has been done is they've literally turned off the part of you that knows how to communicate with all the parts of your body, how to create the images in your mind, how to determine sound, how to determine smells and touch. Is no longer in your sort of conscious mind. It's done by another part of you. And that part of you, they told you, is unknowable like God. But without that part of you being understood, you're not going to understand yourself. And the ancient religions, or not ancient understandings and sciences, all work so that they could be working with what these people call subconscious. Right.
But let me jump in here, because this is just music to the ears, what the reasoning, right? And I remember the one time we was reasoning, he was talking about the creator and who is God and this and that. And you said that, we're better off by studying water, you know what I mean? Because the planet is simply water, yourself is simply water. And you can't kill water, you can't shoot it, right? And the way you brought it around into perspective, it's so powerful, but I want to bring the reason about water, into the whole mix, because it all ties in, why we should understand the whole thing about water, because we seem to talk about God and we don't know which God we're talking about, but water,
Now, the thing about water, because you're not looking at the physical presence, you're looking at the intelligence that created the physical presence.
Say that again.
You're not looking at the physical presence of water. You're looking at the intelligence that created the physical presence of water. It's like us. If I'm talking to you, I'm talking to the intelligence inside you. Your body is the one just carrying the words of what your mind is thinking, isn't it? So therefore, the water in itself is the intelligence that is there behind water, and how water becomes the carrier of the blood and all the other information and all the emotions are transported all around your body via the water communication system. So that travels all the way around. That and iron literally carries everything around. So if you've got something you want to do, you've got a feeling in your toe, it's the water that carries that information all the way back up to your head. So therefore, that intelligence within you is more important than a lot of the things that we want to worship outside. Because if you didn't have that working, you could call whatever you want every day. But that ain't the same thing as that little thing there carrying that information all around your body, all around your system, allowing you to be able to live and experience this life.
Boy, Edison, we're gonna unfortunately running out of time, but just when you're warming up, man. But I just want to ask quickly, you see this information that you got, where did you get it? Did you find it on a YouTube video? Did you read it in a book? Was it a story somebody told you, or an old wise man? How did you get all this information?
in all honesty, the one thing I tell everyone is trust in your head. Ask your own question within you. Because I got mine from my ancestors.
Right.
And I literally, I would love to tell you that I found it in a book, but I got it from sitting down and having an internal conversation. Every time before you do anything, you always ask yourself a question first. And you got to trust that answer. Don't trust what you've been educated to believe sometimes.
Well, and so
sometimes what you know goes against the grain, but that grain is the grain that you got to follow.
Wow. Also, you got some classes, is it? You got some new lectures coming on. Is there any contact number where people can get on the classes, what you're doing?
In honesty, we have an intermediate class at the moment that is only open people to be for the class, but in June we're going to start advertising a big course in September, which will be a 10-week course that will essentially, go from A to Z, who you are, how your mind works. As far as we are concerned, spirituality is just you in this reality. It's not about any name or anything like that. And it just teaches you how to really clear your mind. You know, the big thing with illness nowadays, everyone is sort of going to the doctors, and the doctors are turning around saying, I can't help you. What they've effectively said is that the intelligence of the illness inside you is greater than what they understand.
Right.
So therefore the spirit of that actual illness is something they don't know how to defeat with their medicine.
Right. Wow.
It all goes back to our own spirit in this reality and how we actually can fight from inside. Mm-hmm. And it's not about no religion. It's really just about you being able to control the energy within you.
See, heavy. Well, Edison,
and that's what we're taking it back to. We're not taking it back to you got to pray 5 times. Forget all of that. You just got to make sure you know how you use your energy wisely.
Wow. That sounds like an excellent. Do you know what the title of your course is going to be, or have you got a?
Well, no, the new one that we're doing is called Unlocking the Subconscious Mind.
Wow.
But that's for the intermediates, because ultimately we start to go into some what they call sci-fi. We'll be making it reality. But the initial foundation course, it's just going to really be another Know Thyself course, but really, again, breaking into that whole subconscious mind and start to realize that is your real original power source.
And if anybody wants to get get some of your words of wisdom or whatever,
please, all they need to do is go to our website, ancestralessence.com, or send me an email, which is just Edison, EDISON, at ancestralessence.com. If they want to discuss anything, we do readings where we teach people how to connect with their ancestors or connect with the voices that they hear within inside themselves. And then we also sell oils, and basically, we've got some testimonials. We'll tell you how people have taken this to help this pain, calm themselves down, sort of give them confidence and everything like that. But I wanted to say before I go, happy birthday, Imani, if she's listening.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the birthday today.
Happy birthday, Imani. I didn't realise myself.
Yeah?
Wow.
Yeah, I spoke to her earlier on today, and she did say there's strong, so I know she's listening, so Imani, big up yourself.
All the way in Manchester?
Yes.
Well, it's in Crewe, correct. But yes, she's in Crewe. But big up herself, please. But go on, Dougie.
No, I'm just saying that, I spoke to her earlier on. And she just says that Earth Strong. So again, we're going to play something. You got something special to play for Imani?
Wow, you caught me by surprise there.
We try and dig up something anyway. We try and play something. So Edison, big up your status,
Thank you very much, Dougie.
Yeah, man.
Jammers, thank you very much again. Opportunity. Always the case.
Always, thank you, Edison, as well, man. You get some interesting insights there. I like the one about the intelligence. We're talking to intelligence, is not actually the outside, the exterior.
No, you're not talking to anybody. You can go to a morgue and find a load of bodies, but you know that the intelligence is left them.
Right. Yes.
Yeah?
Excellent. Yeah, thank you once again, Edison.
No problem. Take care. Have a great evening, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We'll speak to you all soon.
Yeah,
thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you a lot. Well, this shows excellent breakdowns. Thank you, Edison, once again.
Always. Bye.
Yeah, and happy birthday to Amani. We had Kensu, who was broke down from a different aspect where illness, the foundation of illness, and he opened the can of worms. We definitely have to get Kensu back here, you know, because he was so many interesting aspects that he brought into the table when he was talking about, as I said, the essence of the hole in the soul, and disease is caused by your emotion is a cause to disease. And then we had your caller calling. What's her name again? Charlotte. And she was breaking. What did she do?
No, she had cancer, you know, and she reversed it, and she's got a book out, Hidden Truth. I think it's called Hidden Truth About Cancer.
Right.
So what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and push her book and push Charlotte to the mat. I've got. I want to play a bit of a track. You got a track for? I've got something here I can play.
You can play for something for a while. Yeah. And also, and then we had Edison breaking it down from the spiritual aspect, and what my contribution was that if you research the word love, there's 4 different types of love. The concept that was brought about in Greece, and to me, the summary of it is it all relates to a craving, where we have to get back to our Kemetic mindset of being self-sufficient and being content. Thank you. You've been listening to Bless. Dougie, over to you.
For you, just chill out and relax. I know you love them style, yeah.
Thank you. I want to say thank you.